Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the grand line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king.
Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and as you see here, the Trial Quest 1 gold medal as the first top English creator to finish the 100 trials, the 10-star meta after so long. Finally, I bring to you a video on this crazy run to finish the first release of the 100 trial quests. Most of these battles were done using the great 10.5 max Chameleos bow, and the funny thing is, I didn't even have a full Dristmelt build. I mostly used 2 and a bunch of random ones versus 10-star Rathalos, so only 2 Dristmelts for a majority of this entire run, and again, a bunch of random ones versus the hardest 10-star in the game, Silver Rathalos, arguably. First, we're going to start out with what build I used. Well, of course, the best Chameleos bow build, and like I mentioned, I only used 2 Dristmelts. 1 Burst, which had an attack plus 3 parameter, and 1 Guts, and the only reason I did it was because of the plus 12 attack parameter. So this was the Dristmelts I used until Trial 99, which is 10-star gold Rathian. And the only reason I did it was because, yeah, I needed some more power. And the only reason I used Guts was because of that ridiculous attack parameter bonus I got with it. And I was able to truly prove why this is the best build. Evade Extender actually came in clutch for a lot of times for positioning. It allowed me to fire when I finally had enough practice and recognized, like, okay, I'm out of range. And Evade Extender was a large reason why. And I didn't want to use the Valor/Heroics meta. That's boring. Everyone's doing it. I wanted to prove I could do it without it. 99% of those who finished all the trial quests already used one of those 2 skills, or both of them, or Aggressive Dodger. So I didn't want to be the same as everyone else and be like, okay, as much as you call me a meta slave, I wanted to do it without it. And I was able to actually do it. And arguably, I was the first to do it without it. But where there is no arguing or disputes is you have evidence. So first off, we have Trial Quest 98. 10-star Black Diablos. The most HP out of the 3 behemoths that I will face here. 187,700. And this took 50 plus attempts. So, I have something called win conditions. If you are an expert at any kind of esport, or if you played any kind of esport, like for me, Pokemon Go PvP, you have something called win conditions. So here are my 3. I had to proc Poison Exploit and Special on the Roar. This is why you still see me not using it in the beginning. As you see, I was literally able to proc it last second and then fire my special skill. That was one of the requirements, and it was so hard. 2, get it to near death within 10 seconds, and then for the 3rd, I had to land the 2nd special skill perfectly. Don't do all these 3, you're not winning. And this is the strongest subspecies in the game, because technically silver and gold are technically rare species, and it took a while for me to get the pattern down. Black Diablos is crazy. She tries to take your soul, she digs twice, and she tries to hornbutt and headbutt you at every angle. So it took a lot of practice before I finally got the timings down, and this was actually, out of all the runs I did, this was one of the only 2 runs where I was able to do this much damage early on. So I had this little mini room for error where I got hit with Guts. So it wasn't a perfect run, but because I was able to land so much damage early on, I had literally a small window of error, and I was able to get through with it thanks to my skill, and Guts really saved it. So Guts actually mattered in the end for this run. And speaking of She's, we have the next She, and she is vicious. She is Trial Quest 99, the 10-star gold Rathian, with a whooping 104,000 HP. Not as much as the last one, but you know what? She's still vicious. And here are the win conditions. You have to perfect dodge the first set of all of his attacks and land all shots. You saw right there the 2 rushing attacks. I was able to dodge out of them. And you have to pray for the second one that you break its wing and pray it falls right here. This needs to happen. If it doesn't and it go ahead and does that little gallop, you're going to have a hard time because you won't be able to hit the head like you're seeing right here. My win condition 3, you have to dodge/perfect dodge its flying tail swiping attack perfectly. That's when it jumps and does a somersault right here and tries to smack your face into oblivion with its tail. And thanks to Evade Extender, this is where it really came in clutch. After getting smacked by that a bazillion times and failing 17 times, I finally got the timing down. And for number 4, you have to land the 2nd special skill perfectly. There's pretty much no room for error. Even though this thing's arguably less harder than Black Diablos, the tail attacks can give you a hard time. That's why I kept failing. But this was actually the only run where I was able to have such a big window where I could finish it off comfortably in the last 5 seconds. You saw right there, last 5 seconds, I had some room. And that's the only time where this happened. I literally finished it with 1 second left to spare, because 115 is your max. And I played perfectly here. But this just shows you how hard she is, considering this is the only run where I got to this level right here. It was crazy. But we ain't gonna get that lucky, because you had that 40% bow bonus. So after doing a few runs, I realized, alright, these 2 drift smelts ain't gonna do it, and we need more DPS. So, here's my Silver Rathalos 10-star Chameleos bow build. 5 drift smelts. We have attack boost with an affinity +1, a fighting spirit with affinity +1, 1 burst attack +3, one I already had, 1 weakness exploit, defense +2, and 1 times guts, which gave you that 12 attack parameter. And I literally just tried to get as much DPS as I could when I figured out I needed more. I originally wanted to go after the full build, which is 5 drift smelts, but with the drift smelt event going on, that's not gonna happen. So I have to use all those mysterious drift stones and just use a bunch of madness and hope that I could pump out enough DPS to finish off 10-star Silver Rathalos. And the problem with this is that if you look at everything you put together, it relies a little bit on luck, because it was only a 27% chance of landing a critical hit when you attack weak spots, because we had weakness exploit. I was hoping for critical eye here, but yeah, it was excessively painful. Actually, not 27, 22%. I can't math right now. But yeah, 22% when you attack monsters' weak spots. So it was like, I either had to get a few of those early on, or hope that somehow, some way, I was able to pull off enough DPS so I could finish off 10-star Silver Rathalos. It moves so much, it's ridiculous at how much effort and mechanics and skill it takes to take this thing out with a bow. But why is it so hard if you're using a bow? Well, here's the reason why. The thing is, the longsword actually gives you the 40% damage bonus as a special effect. So if you're not using a longsword, it can be really rough. And the longsword can also parry a majority of Silver Rathalos' attacks. You can parry the roar. You can also parry the flash-like thing when it goes to Hellfire mode. But you can also use Valor, Heroics, and Aggressive Dodger, which is the standard 10-star meta. So if you aren't using them, you'll struggle DPS-wise. So a lot of people, like almost every example I've seen, or practically all of them, have used some form of this. Others have used the Poison Longsword, but again, Longsword does get the damage bonus, so it's impressive, but at Blit, not that impressive, because you're using the special effect. In the terms of bow, or just long range in general, you basically have to play perfectly and hope you meet the ridiculous win requirements if you use Chameleos bow. As you see here, I literally have gotten so much practice that I could fire at the right times, but at the same times, those little micro decisions you make can really affect the outcome of a hunt. And you also had to mess around with the phone, as I did, as you have to tilt your phone at crazy angles to make sure your bow shots land. If you are able to do enough, you're going to struggle, and you're going to be like, oh crap, I can't do it at like the 2 seconds I have here, and you're going to end up not being able to finish off the hunt, as you see. But Obi-Wan is in fact not the only hope here, as the Trial Quest 100 10-star Silver Rathalos with an HP of 170,750. It took 100 plus attempts, and that's how you see this run is just so beautiful. But the win conditions were ridiculous. 1, you have to perfect dodge the first set of attacks and land all shots. You saw it right there with the bite. 2, you have to land the first special skill on roar. You saw it right there. You need to land that when it roars so that you don't lose any seconds for your DPS. And you have to break the wing and pray it falls to the ground. Sometimes it'll gallop. If you don't do this right and it doesn't fall, you won't have this window to do damage. 4, actually number 3, you have to land the second special skill perfectly during poison exploit. Like you see right here. I actually did not get the best angle, but I was still able to land it. And you have to do number 4, which is perfect dodging / dodge all remaining attacks. I was able to dodge the fireball, and thanks to all the times I've gotten whacked by this thing's attacks, I've been able to get the range down and the timing down. And the last one, your last and final win condition, you have to learn the third one perfectly and proc poison exploit. Now the thing about this run, I missed 3 volleys. I literally had to fire the special skill at an angle I've never fired at it before, and I literally went ballistic when I saw this. I was going nuts. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I did it. I realized near the end that if I land the third special skill, I can win. But that angle, like I mentioned to you before, was absolutely ridiculous. I have never tried to aim for its nuts before and then angle up. Somehow, some way, I managed to do it, and I managed to finish the trial quest. It was ridiculous. But of course, it took many attempts, and I learned a bunch of lessons. So here's my lessons learned, and hopefully you learn from it and be able to get better. You try to review your video and see how you could get better every hunt. I had to modify like every hunt here. The only reason I had that sequence done perfectly is because I practiced it so many times. And unfortunately, there's very little to no room for error. Like, I already knew when I would fail early on if I didn't meet the win conditions. That's why I was like, alright, I just still play it out though. Because the thing is, even if you know you'll fail the hunt, practice. I would have never gotten used to those fireballs or its claw attacks if I didn't, like, just stay in practice. And it's free, so you might as well, because trial quests don't bounce off your regular ones, so you're not going to lose potions or anything like that. And if you're using bow guns, mess around with your phone tilts to find your angles. Even though it looks like I'm doing pretty smoothly here, I still missed 3 volleys, but managed to be able to take it out. The angles at which I had to fire my shots were ridiculous. And the thing is, as I proved here, 10-star Silver Rathalos can be slayed off meta. I just proved it here. You don't need full Dismount Valor Heroic / Aggressive Dodger. You don't have to be like everybody else. As much as I hail myself as a meta slave, with a lot of skill and mechanics and just a whole bunch of effort and recognizing and data, because data was very important here, you too can slay 10-star Silver Rathalos without using the latest and greatest top meta out there that uses a bunch of conditional Drift skills. Hopefully this video gives you some hope to complete your 100 trial quests. Being the first top English creator to do it off meta was a huge accomplishment for me. All the people said like, oh, your mechanics aren't that good as other people, or blah blah blah, feelings over facts, data doesn't matter. Well, guess what? I just proved y'all wrong, and I did it off meta. Well, I did that for Pokemon Go PvP too, but you know the haters don't want to hear about that. But yes, it was a huge accomplishment. I was just like, wow, I was so hell-bent on doing it, and somehow I was able to do it, and you can too. I believe in you. With that being said, please do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Good luck on your trial quest. Hopefully you're able to get the sweet medal and all the rewards you want from this set. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.